Start.
It started? Yeah, route and started.
Mic check. Alright, so I want you on the worksheet that you have right now. The first line that I want you to graph is y equals 2x plus 3 on your graph. So we're going to start at positive 3. And go up 2 over 1. Up 2 over 1. 2 over 1. Same thing in the opposite direction. Go down 2 over 1. Down 2 over 1. Down 2 over 1. Then connect the points with a straight line. Okay, the second line, raise your hand if you need more time. The second line I want you to graph. You can do it in the same color pencil. If you have another pen, you can use a different color pen or something for the third line. But for the next line, number 2, I want you to graph y equals 2x minus 4. You can use the same color for the second line, except that we're going to start at negative 4. And we're going to go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, 2 over 1. And reverse direction, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. Connect your points. Okay, raise your hand if you need more time. Alright, I want you to take 30 seconds with the person next to you. I want you to discuss, by looking at the graph, what's the same about these, what's different. Okay, take 30 seconds, go ahead.
The different is that they're different points.
Okay, finish up your conversation. 3, 2, 1. Someone tell me something that is the same between these two lines. The slope, just from looking at the graph, they have the same slope. Somebody tell me something that's different. What was it?
The intercept form is different.
The y-intercept is different. Not the intercept form, the y. They're both in slope-intercept form. The y-intercept is different. Okay? Take 15 seconds, and now looking at both of these equations, I want you to tell me what's the same and what's different. 15 seconds.
What is it called? One plus one
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, somebody tell me these two equations, just looking at the equations, not the graph, what's the same? What's the same? Shiny. The 2 in front of the x, or the slope, they're both the same number, coefficient. The slope here is both, for both equations, is 2. What's different?
For the y-intercept, the first one is positive.
And the second one is? Great, okay. Now, number 3, you can do it in a different color, pen, pencil, ink. I want you to graph y equals negative 1/2 x plus 1. I'm going to do it in green. You can graph it right now without me, or you can follow along with me. Okay, I'm going to start at 1, because that's my y-intercept for this line, and my slope is negative 1/2, so I'm going to go down 1 to the right 2. Down 1 to the right 2. Down 1 to the right 2. Keep going. Connect my dots with a line, and then in the opposite direction, I'm going to go up 1 and over 2. And connect my points with the line. Okay, raise your hand one more time. If you look at the line that we just drew, it intersects or crosses these two lines almost at, like, it looks nice, doesn't it? The way that it crosses. It creates a right angle here. Where it crosses, it's like a perfect T it makes. If you were to turn these lines right side up, it would make a perfect T. 90-degree angles, right? It's a perpendicular line to the original 2 lines that we drew. So I want to go over 2 definitions with you. Parallel lines have the same slope, different y-intercept, and they never, ever, ever intersect, never cross. Perpendicular lines have the negative reciprocal slope, and I'll talk about what that means. And they intersect at 90-degree angles. Yes.
So, you said that is perpendicular lines that intersect at 90 degrees angles. How would you know how to find the little triangle, the angle?
Yes. So the angle, you would know that it's a 90-degree angle because when you graphed it, it would look perpendicular, but I'm going to tell you how you would know for sure it's perpendicular in a second. Raise your hand if you need more time. I'm going to talk about this here. Negative reciprocal slope. Okay? Let's go up to our 3 lines and look at the slope. For the first 2 lines, the slope was the same, right?
Yep.
The slope was 2 over 1. the slope of this line is negative 1/2. Okay? We know when we look at this slope that it's perpendicular because it's the negative reciprocal, or in other words, if you took 2/1 and you flipped it and gave it the opposite sign, it would give you negative 1/2. So if you see a slope that is the negative reciprocal or flipped with the opposite sign, it's perpendicular. So copy down this little note here. If you see a line where its slope is flipped and has an opposite sign, it's perpendicular. If it has the same number, the slopes are going to be the same. They're going to be parallel. If that number is flipped and it has an opposite sign, it's perpendicular. I got about 5 more minutes. 2 examples. Is there any more time? Okay. The 2 examples that I go over, you can do on the back of the sheet or you can do them in your notebook. Here's the first example. So copy it down. What do the following 2 equations represent? Parallel, perpendicular, equivalent, or neither? Equivalent just means, are they the same exact line? These are a type of question you're going to see in your homework tonight. So copy it down. And we have 2 equations here. 1, a 2. Great. You took the words right out of my mouth. Before we can even answer this question, for both of these lines, we have to do what with them? We have to solve them for y, or put them in slope-intercept form, or y is by itself. So you can go ahead and try it on your own, or you can follow along with me. For the first line, to get y by itself, I'm going to add 2x to both sides. Negative 2x plus 2x cancels. I'm left with negative 4y equals positive 2x minus 3. And the last step would be to divide everything by negative 4. So we're left with y equals 2/4 reduces as a fraction to 1/2, and the negative sign stays. X, and then I can't divide 3 and 4, I'm just going to write that as 3/4, and a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So here's the equation of our first line in slope-intercept form. And remember, it's asking us if they're parallel, perpendicular. So we know that we're just looking at the slopes of these 2 lines. What would I do for the second one to solve for y? First step. No.
You have to check 8 from 1.
Subtract 8 on both sides.
Both sides. Make a wish.
8x.
Yeah.
Keep going.
And then you're going to bring down your negative 4y
Negative 4y.
equals negative 8x minus 1. And then you're going to divide negative 4 on both